Good evening, everyone. This is Dankest Dad here, once again joined by Randy. Randy, say hello to everyone.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tonight we are going to be talking about another Wildhearts What If, and this is a card that is near and dear to my heart and was one that led me to my first ever Wildhearts win. So some might say that this card was changed in a way that's going to promote better play experiences and overall be a better card for set one. And some might say that their favorite son was mercilessly torn apart and massacred by the development team. And, well, I guess Randy and I are going to have a chat and see where we land on it. So, Randy, tell me, how do we feel about the Lunos that we used to have?
So the Lunos that we used to have
Yes.
is, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not better than what we have now. So the Lunos that we used to have, the main difference was is that you, when it got KO'd, you would take your opponent's support resource from them and you would give it to yourself.
Yes, and this was awesome. I've taken enough resource points from or resources from Randy alone to get all three victory points from a Ferrotoon. Like this card was fun, but definitely had a bit of a mean streak. And well, I'm a mean control player. I love that sort of thing.
Yeah, so really, it kind of boiled down to a few different things. So one, the development team felt that paying. I mean, we should maybe talk about how you'd use it because you would bring it into play, you would do an effect, and then you would immediately KO it to basically pay three to like say draw two cards and then KO something or whatever, and then you would then KO your own creature to steal one of my resources. So you're
Yes.
basically paying three for like three effects.
Yes. And notice how Randy said my resource, not a player's resource. He knows what I'm about. I'm coming for him.
Yes, yes. Um, and really, we felt that that wasn't necessarily game breaking. We felt that that wasn't necessarily how the card was envisioned being used when we designed it. And to some extent, the development team felt that that play style was I'm going to say suboptimal. And that's maybe not the correct word, but it wasn't, we didn't want a card where people were going to pay three for basically three effects when it's got a four power on it. And the development team in the design space when we designed it felt that the Lunos having that KO effect on it was going to make it stickier on the field and less likely that it was going to be KO'd then because right you're gonna take one of my resources and not this like well we're just gonna blow up our own moon sprites to steal all your resources.
Yes. And even if the other effect is not as flashy, I do think that shuffling back into the deck is interesting because it does create some tension about whether you want this Lunos to go or not. And especially with special being able to accumulate resources so quickly, being able to have more chances to draw another powerful three resource play is going to matter over the course of the game. If you're playing in a day of Swiss, you might see another extra Lunos or two that you wouldn't have and be able to lock up a late game, which is something the old Lunos would not be able to do.
That's very true. Yeah, the fact that the Lunos goes back into your deck means that it's never truly like gone, which is good, right? Like that's what we want. Like it's never, I mean, unless someone vanishes it, I guess, but that's we need
Yeah,
to cut that.
a little more niche, and like you don't have to sell me on the concept of infinite removal and infinite value. Like that sort of thing is pretty cool as long as you can build a deck that can realize enough of that potential within 4 rounds to actually make the impact it has to.
Right. And with the whole stealing a resource, it also did open up some interesting loops with like you KO your Lunous, you steal your opponent's resource, and then you bring it back for one with, say, the Sylph Amulet, and then all of a sudden we're in this like the card is balanced on its own, but the whole like the shift of play mentality to just like we're gonna blow up our moon sprites just gave the dev team a step back and let's just evaluate like is this the play pattern? This wasn't the play pattern we designed it for when we designed it. Is this play pattern something that we want to promote within the rest of the set, or is this going to be giving us some weird outlier games?
Yeah, and I do think too, like with tactics already having a bit of a sub theme of this recursion, especially with what we've seen in the Trossum, being able to bring back the first KO'd ally. I do think that for this, with the Lunos, it is a little bit more sort of flavorful, both for a Moonsprite and kind of more mechanically consistent with how tactics operates, being to able to play this modal card and then be able to get it back if it needs it to access either some more of the mode that's best in the situation or to adapt to a new situation with another mode. And I like when cards really do, sort of fit the flavor and mechanism that the style is going for.
Thanks, yeah. And ultimately we felt that this change did make it fit more into like because we wanted it to be a sticky moon sprite, like it's like a spirit or a ghost or a sprite, and it's just gonna it's not gonna be this easy thing to just get rid of, and then this change makes that feel more thematic.
Yes, definitely. So, does this mean that we are safe with our resources? Surely there's not going to be another way to take them, right? You would never do that to us players, would you, Randy?
Um, I don't really want to lie, but no, no, it's no, that doesn't mean that we're safe. It's just that it won't be put on a card that we want to be sticking on the field and then having that effect end up actually being an incentive to kill your own creature. It probably won't be put back into the game that way.
Yeah, no, no self KO. We will save that for the adults with the sacrificial bond and the Trossum. Well, if you guys are curious, that's what I intend to be doing on Friday this week. So hopefully we can get some good games in. I heard it was a little quieter this time over the holiday, but new year, new me, new Wildhearts decks. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your Tactics Ferocity deck. I love Ferocity. I love Tactics. I ran Tactics Ferocity last week, and I did not win with it, but I'm sure you will do better than
Yeah.
I did.
Well, we'll see if I find my lucky hats, my sacrificial bonds, and remember to read my cards and play them properly. All three of those things take a lot of luck and good variance in my favor. So fingers crossed.
Especially the reading the cards part
Yeah,
if it's me looking at the cards.
you just never know. So before we wrap up for the evening, got a few more notes. We are, as the moment of this recording, a mere 8 days away from the Kickstarter for the TCG. So that is extremely exciting. And yeah, if you want to make sure to check that out, I'll have a link for you in the description for this video. So make sure to look into the Discord community, look into the Kickstarter, and get your hands on this game. It's going to be one that I'm really excited for, and I roam the streets of Ohio, as I say, on the TCCG roundtable looking for games, and I'll just have to add a Wildhearts deck to the bag.
For sure. Yeah, I can't wait for everyone to get their hands on physical cards and being able to play it in person. It adds a ton to the experience, in my opinion.
Yeah. So thanks again for coming on, and we'll be looking to do more of these wild heart what ifs. I think word on the street, at least from what I heard, is that the audiences demand that we do foxtail necklace again. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but hey, I guess we'll be back to talk about the same card next week. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, you're gonna love the changes to that. It is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for chatting, Randy. It was a pleasure. And to you viewers, have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.